All right, again, I did catch a little bit of this because it was hard to not avoid the talk around the fact that something fell off the 323 roadmap in a way. I think this was actually a card on its own, or at least was very much discussed on its own. But we had a roadmap roundup yesterday, and let's check it out. So it was for March 20th. Get this going. And right away, release view, unique item recovery. After careful review, our team has concluded that this feature would benefit from additional development time. Therefore, we're updating this card on release view accordingly. We expect this feature to return in the roadmap very soon. And in the meantime, item banks remain on track for Alpha 323 and will remain in place. So the difference between unique item recovery and item banks is item banks are, I think it was, you know what? I'm 99% sure Jake on Spectrum explained it. So I can kind of bring that up. I think we have it. I can find it easily in Discord. Let me do that. Difference between unique. Yep, there it is. So let's bring that down here. We'll have more info on the item banks on Inside Star Citizen tomorrow. That's what it says. That's all we're saying. So he doesn't want to spoil ISC. That's odd because I think they've already explained them pretty clearly to us. My understanding is that there are cargo elevators where you store your cargo and your vehicles, which unfortunately fell off the last roadmap. And then there is another section where you deal with things like armor and weapons and med pens and all those things, which is an inventory of your own. It's removing the idea that there is a global inventory anywhere around the station. So while I'm running around the station, I'm not pressing the inventory button and being able to magically pull items from outer space, essentially. And I have to go to a physical location to gather my items at the physical location that I'm at. So, I personally like this, but it is adding more friction to doing anything in the game, right? So now if I forgot something, I have to run all the way back to that item location or whatever, right? Whereas the current way the game works is actually one of the more convenient things. Oh my goodness, I forgot my med pens. Turn around. You're in your ship, right? If your ship has an interior, turn around, get close to the station. You don't even have to land. Get close to the station, press I, bang. I have a local inventory there. It's like you're in the hangar. It's awesome. And they're removing that completely, which is totally understandable. It's magic. It's silly. It's not immersive. But it was convenient. This is when you lose a subscriber item. This was the way they were intending to have us get it back. So that is one of the things that I was looking forward to seeing how they were going to do it. But it is not the most paramount feature that we need absolutely 100% in 323. It is a feature that we need in a beta, in a live, when you're not recovering your items every wipe or whatever, right? So there are things that need to happen here. Now, this is the time that I always take to speak that the current paint system is the stupidest thing on planet Earth. A physical paint can is the dumbest choice you could possibly choose. Selling or providing an individual item with a unique item ID that is a different color rather than allowing players to apply the paint to the item is, again, the dumbest thing on the planet. And one thing that we could do that would be really nice is at these item banks, that's where you would customize your items, or maybe right next to it, a different location, like a Cousin Crow's, where you go to customize your items and get and apply the paints that you have, and then it costs a fee, like I see in chat, something like that. I think we still are going to get there at some point. I think just like the the cargo elevators in the first place, which they've been talking about for years now. It's just a matter of when that thing becomes a priority. But it's just a reminder that it's everything that we deal with now. This thing is a temporary solution to a problem that they're probably going to fix later. So it not being in 323 and it falling off, the sky is not falling yet. The vehicles not being able to be spawned in the hangar, that is much, much, much larger of a problem than this. But none of it is making 323 like awful or anything, I don't think. Now, the features that have passed their final review, so positive stuff, character customizer, and which we saw a lot of already, and more importantly, reputation hostility. So this is updating the reputation system so players can affect their long-term standing in game with organizations via means outside of missions, such as reputation for killing a member of that faction. AI belonging to certain factions will react differently based on the reputation with you. We did see more of this that they in the monthly report where they want them to come and defend us if they have positive rep with us. Oh my God. If they have positive rep with us, and if they don't, the opposite, come and attack us. Being an ally provides the player benefits, such as more generous friendly fire thresholds as well, and providing medical aid. Will they pick us up when we're down? Listen, if we get on a good server and a security guard picks us up when we're down and we don't have to call a player, that would be sick. Being an enemy will be harsher friendly fire thresholds and may result in attack on site. Lawful organizations will not attack on site as long as they're in a monitored zone, whereas unlawful factions will attack on site no matter what. This is a foundation which allows players to become allies with in-world criminal factions and enables places like Grimhex to enforce their own law. Very curious to see how this plays out as well. Who is allowed at Grimhex? Who can land? Who cannot? We'll be very, very curious. And then Dynamic Crosshair made it in as well, which we did see quite a bit. And I actually was able to interact with a little bit on Evo, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest. Well, actually, I never thought it was going to be that bad. I just talked about how I liked watching Tarkov streamers, that it was just so immersive to not have anything on the screen and watch them hit shots so easily. I thought it was impressive. Then they put the Anvil Hornet, obviously, the Mark II, on the cards. And then again, nothing on the progress tracker because of the 1.0 thing that they talked about in the letter for the chairman. And I honestly never want to see that roadmap. I think that is one of the worst decisions they could possibly make. And they're making it again for, I think, the third time in Star Citizen's life, which is oversharing and under-delivering. Which is what is definitely going to happen. So that was Roadmap Roundup. Highlights are obviously that something fell off, but it's not that big of a deal. And listen, the cargo elevator and the persistent hangars and all that, I'm super excited for. I think outside of master modes, the biggest thing. The reputation hostility, though, is right up there with one of the largest sweeping changes that could possibly come to Star Citizen. There's been so much that has not made sense with the law system because we didn't have a system like this, and I cannot wait to see how it works. I mean, when you see something like this, where if the NPCs work, they could possibly help you, that's so cool. And then, and I think we know it's not going to happen, right? Like, the NPCs are going to stand there and derp out. We all know that, right? That is obvious. No need to make a comment on those things. But even things like the little more generous friendly fire, like, hey, man, watch out. We're on the same team here, instead of immediately becoming a criminal and you fail the mission and everything is done. Like, how many times has that happened to people, right? So fixing that. And then the most important one is locking areas that should not belong to lawful players, like Grimhex, to players who align with an unlawful faction. I cannot wait to see what that looks like. I am so, so excited. That was Roadmap Roundup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, the sky is not falling yet, but Maybe this next roadmap, we'll see.